They tell you that seeing more is a gift, but sometimes the clearest sight is the heaviest burden. You walk into a room and the cheerful surface behaves like a thin skin over an ocean of things no one wants to name. I want to suggest, gently and urgently, that the way you perceive can be both a rescue and a trap. What follows is not abstract theory. It is a map for how you keep your center when the world around you prefers comfortable blindness. Imagine a dinner party in a low-lit apartment. The hum of conversation is a fabric you can almost touch. The scent of lemon and frying garlic mixing with perfume, the clink of cutlery like a metronome. Someone laughs too loudly. A jacket hangs on the back of a chair like a flag abandoned mid-conflict. A phone buzzes with a message that no one reads. You notice the way the host, Tom, forces a toast. How Lena's smile stops halfway when she looks at Marcus. The way Priya keeps her hands wrapped around her glass until the condensation runs down to her wrist. These are small sensory things. The metallic taste you imagine in your own mouth when someone tells a story that doesn't add up. The way the lighting throws shadows under eyes so tired they speak for themselves. The dry fabric of conversation that refuses to hold weight. You hear the pauses, the inhalations, the micro-intonations that betray what is unsaid. You smell the faint cigarette on Carlos, even though he claims he quit. One quick line of dialogue, a tiny exchange, exposes the surface gloss. "Everything okay?" asks Elena. "Fine," says Maya, and the word lands flat, like a coin that will not catch light. How do you live with that extra layer of knowledge? How do you not become the person who keeps lifting flaps while everyone else walks on? Let me bring this closer with a case. There is a woman I know, call her Maya, whose sensitivity is almost a physical instrument. She does not intend to expose people. She only listens with a kind of attention that makes unspoken currents surface. Backstory is brief but necessary. Maya grew up in a household where silence meant anything but safety, where attention was a survival tool. She learned to read the room to survive and then to care. That compact history explains why she feels others like weather on her skin. In a single year, she lost several friendships, not because she revealed secrets, but because her presence made the comfortable untrue. At a work meeting, she noticed a team member, Noah, shifting his papers more than usual. She asked a question that nudged a truth out into daylight. "Do you need a moment?" she asked. "No," he said quickly, voice thin. "Yes," she persisted, softer. "I am fine," he replied. She sat, held the silence, and then he broke. "I thought if I said anything, I'd be judged." "Why would you be judged?" Maya asked. "Because this place eats the inconvenient," Noah said. The exchange had texture, the rasp of his throat, the smell of stale coffee on the table, the creak of an office chair that sounded like a hinge opening on a long closed door. Later, in the hallway, her manager, Carlos, confronted her. "Why do you insist on stirring things?" he demanded. "I am noticing what is already here," she answered. "And the team needed space," she said. He replied, "Space is for projects, not feelings." That moment was a hinge. The company praised her empathy in one sentence and punished it in another. Friends rotated out like seasons. Marcus stopped inviting her to game nights. Elena said she felt exposed in Maya's company. Priya called less. Tom texted gratitude and kept his distance. Pause here, because you might be feeling something familiar. Maybe you see yourself in Maya, or you think of someone you know. If this rings true, share one short line below starting with "I feel" or "I know someone." Your words matter. Other viewers will read them and feel less alone. The act of naming is small, but it changes the map. Comment now and we will listen. The dilemma at the center is as old as any moral choice. Speak and risk being labeled the troublemaker, or stay silent and carry other people's shadows like unmarked luggage. In a tense scene at a community meeting where local plans for a park become a battleground of status and memory, the choices compress into minutes. Sensory detail anchors the stakes. Fluorescent lights buzz like a lazy swarm. The varnish on chairs emits a faint solvent smell. The heated air tastes of recycled breath. Hands are clammy and papers rustle like nervous leaves. In that room, Maya has a conversation with Marcus that stretches long enough to feel like a test. "We need to address displacement," she says. "We do," Marcus replies. "But how direct should I be?" she asks. "You always go too far," he counters. "Too far how?" she asks, voice small but clear. "You say things that make people defensive," he says. "And then who hears them?" "People who hurt will listen," she answers. "Or they will turn on the messenger," he warns. The tension is a physical pressure behind the sternum. That scene shows the central risk. Your clarity can catalyze repair or trigger closing ranks. What you choose will shape not only your relationships, but your sense of self. Groups tend to protect their preferred stories, and these protections often aim exactly at the person who perceives the cracks. The stage metaphor becomes real in community gatherings and family dinners alike. Think of the room as a stage where the cast agrees on a script because the alternative would be chaotic. The reactions have names and faces. Tom uses polite deflection. Lena laughs first to make others laugh second. Noah retreats into silence. Carlos institutionalizes the discomfort. Priya offers silence as a favor. Alina labels the observer as dramatic. In one meeting, the responses cascade: accusations of negativity, suggestions that the perceiver is projecting, even passive-aggressive emails copied to HR. Sensory markers of that attack are sharp: the sudden coolness when conversation turns into scrutiny, the metallic tang in the mouth when someone emails your supervisor, the way your phone vibrates with a confrontational message, the cold tack of sweat on your back when a group looks at you at once. The result is often identity erosion. You begin to doubt which feelings are yours and which are ones you have borrowed from the room. The phrase "abortion emotional," used by an old therapist friend, comes back to me as a blunt image. Feelings that are neither born nor owned, floating in limbo. You learn the language of containment, or you are consumed. So how do you integrate the clarity without being consumed by it? Think of a river, a central metaphor here. Perception is a current. You can be swept away, you can become a bridge, or you can learn to navigate as a skilled traveler. Practically, that means solitude, filters, small trusted circles, and deliberate speech. Solitude is not escape, it is recalibration. Filter means noticing what is yours to carry and what is a communal wave you can acknowledge without absorbing. Find at least one person who sees with you. In practice, I suggest these steps. Schedule regular alone time to process sensory input. Practice labeling emotions as your own or as ambient. Develop a short script for when you must speak that holds compassion and boundary, and build a list of safe people, even if short, who will reflect rather than deflect. In a conversation that helped Maya, she tried a different approach with Lena. "You look tired," she said. "I am tired," Lena admitted. "Do you want me to listen, or do you want to fix?" Maya asked. "I want someone to hear me," Lena said. "I can do that," Maya replied. That exchange had 3 small acts: recognition, question, and offer. In another scene, Maya found refuge with a mentor, Noah, who taught her to name the difference between her own grief and what she was picking up. "Is this mine?" she asked. "Not always," he said. "Then breathe and choose." These 2 short dialogues, each with clarity and restraint, are models of integration that preserve both compassion and boundary. As you practice, certain procedural moves help. A simple breathing ritual before entering charged spaces reduces contagion. A 1-sentence preface before offering perception softens impact, such as, "I could be wrong, but I notice." Use presence to hold space rather than cure. Choose fewer interventions, but with more care. Keep a small notebook with patterns you notice so you can track when something is yours. These are tools, not moral absolutes. They teach you to be precise. 1 month later, you notice small changes. You are less exhausted at the end of each day. You have begun to choose when to speak, and the word "no" feels less like a cliff and more like a boundary. One person, maybe Elena, returns with a quiet thank you for an earlier conversation. You feel steadier. 3 months in, a new rhythm forms. You have a pair or two who reflect back without demanding you fix anything. Your social calendar shifts toward people who tolerate truth, and your work life includes at least one ally. The river is still running, but you stand on firmer ground. 6 months later, the transformation is clearer. You are recognized not as an alarm, but as a presence that can illuminate and support. Some relationships remain distant, and that is okay. You have learned to carry clarity with limits. Your attention is now a tool for compassion rather than a flashlight that blinds. If this conversation landed for you, subscribe to continue exploring how to hold sensitivity without losing yourself. Share in the comments a short line starting, "I feel" or "I know someone," so we can build a community that sees and protects. Remember, seeing is not a mandate to fix everything. It is a responsibility to choose how to be present. Keep your eyes open and learn to be a presence that warms, not consumes.